Shout out to Christine Brennan. Team USA, y'all need to stop playing. Hold on, wait a second. Y'all will recognize and appreciate Caitlyn Clark as the face of this whole get up. Nobody's checking for these other, no disrespect. Great basketball players. That don't mean people checking for you. You mean to tell me y'all put other people's face all on the Team USA stuff and y'all left Caitlyn Clark off of it? Had to go all out promoting women's basketball, bring new fans in, and get unprecedented attention for a team that dropped in TV viewership at the Paris Olympics. That's right. The women's USA viewership dropped at the Olympics in Paris. Nobody was watching it. They would have added the photo of one of the player to this graphic, but no. She continued.
Yeah, well, I've given it, as you know, over the last 60 hours. I broke the news right around midnight, Friday to Saturday morning. And I think on both fronts, merit and publicity, you, of course, mentioned it, you know, it's just a total swing and a miss by the national governing body, by USA Basketball, just a missed opportunity. And but I'll start with my answer by saying, I have covered this woman, Caitlyn Clark, on that team, the team that so richly deserves attention and doesn't get it and won't get it without her, because there's just so much going on in an Olympics. On that same day, there probably will be 30 other gold medals given out, and sports editors and others have to make a decision. Do you go to Simone Biles? Do you go to women's soccer? Where do you go? It's not, you know, there's just too much going on. You put Caitlyn Clark on that team, and every single one of those guys that can't stand women's.
The outrage was instant, and the internet exploded when Team USA released its new promotional graphic for the upcoming women's basketball training camp. Fans expected to see the face that has redefined the sport, Caitlyn Clark. Instead, her image was nowhere to be found. Not hidden in the corner, not even listed in small print, completely absent. Within minutes, fans, analysts, and even veteran journalists couldn't believe what they were seeing. How could USA Basketball overlook the one player who almost single-handedly reignited global interest in women's basketball? The reaction wasn't mild disappointment. It was fury, disbelief, and confusion all at once. This wasn't just a simple design choice. It felt like a slap in the face to fans who have carried the sport to new heights. Caitlyn Clark's rookie season shattered every measurable expectation. WNBA viewership skyrocketed by over 400%. Arenas that had been half empty for years were suddenly sold out weeks in advance. Merchandise sales broke records. Her jersey became the top-selling item in women's sports history, outselling every other player combined. And yet, when USA Basketball rolled out their promotional material for December's camp, they chose to highlight Jackie Young, Kelsey Plum, and Kalia Copper instead. Talented athletes, yes, but none of them had the cultural impact or commercial influence of Caitlyn Clark. Veteran journalist Christine Brennan, who has covered Olympic basketball since 1984, was the first to expose the decision. She didn't mince words. She called it a total swing and a miss by USA Basketball. A missed opportunity on every level. Brennan pointed out that women's basketball viewership had already dropped significantly during the Paris Olympics. Fans simply weren't tuning in. For a sport trying to grow, that's catastrophic. But then came Caitlyn Clark, a generational talent who had reignited passion and attention. She was the answer to decades of dwindling interest. And somehow the organization still managed to fumble that momentum. When Brennan revealed that she'd stood inside near-empty press boxes during Olympic gold medal games, it painted a devastating picture. The most dominant team in Olympic history, one that hadn't lost a gold medal since 1992, couldn't even fill the stands or draw journalists. The reason? Lack of interest. But that all could have changed this year. Caitlyn Clark represented something bigger. A new era, a global movement. Her name alone could have put women's basketball back on the map. Yet, instead of seizing that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, Team USA ignored it, as if unaware of the very audience that had revived their sport. To put this into perspective, think about the 1992 Dream Team. Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. A lineup that changed the way the entire planet viewed basketball. That team didn't just win gold, they created an international revolution. The NBA's global expansion, its billions in broadcast revenue, and its wave of international players all trace back to that single summer in Barcelona. Brennan drew the same parallel for Caitlyn Clark. Her inclusion on the Olympic team could have done for women's basketball what the Dream Team did for men's basketball. Imagine millions of young girls across Africa, Europe, and Asia wearing the number 22 Team USA jersey, inspired to pick up a basketball because of her. That's not fantasy, that's potential, and Team USA chose to throw it away. What makes this even more frustrating is that this isn't the first time Caitlyn Clark has been overlooked by USA basketball. When she was just 17, playing for the youth national team, she was made to come off the bench, benched, behind players who have long since faded from the spotlight. The same Caitlyn Clark who went on to break Pete Maravich's all-time NCAA scoring record, a record that stood for 54 years, wasn't even considered good enough to start back then. That wasn't just a mistake. It was a glimpse into a larger problem, an institutional blind spot where talent and impact are ignored in favor of tradition and politics. This pattern shows an organization that's completely disconnected from the modern reality of its audience. USA Basketball claims its mission is to both win medals and grow the sport, yet their actions say otherwise. Growing the sport isn't just about the scoreboard, it's about visibility, excitement, and reaching new fans. Caitlyn Clark brought millions of new eyes to women's basketball. She didn't just attract the hardcore fans, she brought in people who never cared about the WNBA before. She made it cool, she made it mainstream, and she made it profitable. Every player in the league benefited from her presence, directly or indirectly. The league's new collective bargaining agreement, which drastically raised player salaries and benefits, happened largely because of the audience Caitlyn Clark helped create. And yet, USA Basketball still doesn't seem to understand the magnitude of what she represents. They had a front row seat to everything she accomplished this season. The sellouts, the sponsorships, the viral moments, the headlines. They watched the transformation of a league that had long been fighting for attention, and instead of building on that success, they chose to stick with the same old playbook. They decided that maintaining team chemistry mattered more than expanding the sport's reach or building global momentum. That decision is not just tone deaf, it's self-destructive. What makes Brennan's critique even more powerful is her credibility. This isn't a social media hot take. She's a respected journalist who's covered every Olympics for 4 decades. She's not chasing clicks. She's highlighting a systemic issue that's held women's sports back for generations. And she's not the only one noticing. International outlets from New Zealand to the UK have already picked up the story. The December 12th training camp hasn't even happened yet, and the controversy over a single promotional graphic is already making global headlines. That alone should tell USA Basketball how monumental their mistake truly is. When you look at how the WNBA exploded this past season, it becomes clear just how crucial Clark's presence is to the sport's future. Games featuring her drew 10 times the viewership of others. Networks competed for broadcast rights. Sponsors lined up. Even the men's basketball world couldn't ignore her. And now, as USA Basketball prepares for the 2026 World Cup and the next Olympics, they're sitting on a goldmine of momentum that they seem ready to waste. Because once that energy fades, it's gone. You can't recreate it. You can't manufacture lightning in a bottle twice. The truth is, the old way of doing things doesn't work anymore. Veteran loyalty and internal politics won't keep fans watching. People want stories, personalities, and connection. Caitlyn Clark embodies all of that. She's relatable, competitive, authentic, and electrifying to watch. Her games feel like events. And when you remove that from the conversation, you don't just lose a player, you lose the heartbeat of your audience. It's easy to see why fans are furious. This isn't about favoritism or hype, it's about understanding what drives growth. USA Basketball is treating the Olympic team like a closed club when it should be the sport's biggest showcase. They're thinking short term when they should be planning for the next generation. It's like having a rocket ready for launch and refusing to push the button. The result? Another Olympics where women's basketball struggles for attention, where the same problems persist, and where an entire sport misses its moment once again. Caitlyn Clark has already proven she doesn't need validation from anyone. She's rewriting the narrative every time she steps on the court. But this situation goes beyond her. It's about the future of women's basketball, about whether the people in charge are willing to evolve or if they'll let politics and pride destroy their own progress. Christine Brennan was right. This was a swing and a miss. Not just for USA Basketball, but for every fan who believed the sport had finally turned a corner. The question now isn't whether they made a mistake. Everyone knows they did. The real question is whether they'll learn from it before it's too late. Will they put Caitlyn Clark front and center where she belongs? Will they use her star power to grow the game globally, to inspire the next generation, and to prove that women's basketball can stand shoulder to shoulder with the men's side in attention and respect? Or will they cling to old habits, let this wave of excitement crash, and wonder years from now where it all went wrong? Fans aren't waiting for an apology. They're demanding action. They want USA basketball to step up, recognize the moment, and finally give the sport's biggest star the spotlight she's earned. Because if they don't, the damage won't just be measured in missed TV ratings or jersey sales. It'll be the lost trust of millions of fans who believed women's basketball was finally ready to claim its place on the world stage.